Abby and I were best friends for at least a decade. We shared a diary that we passed back and forth after Hebrew school. We made up secret code languages. I ate 17 slices of watermelon at her 9th birthday party, and all her friends called me Watermelon Girl for the next 5 years. We played Dance Dance Revolution and SingStar Karaoke for hours until her parents would shoo us into the backyard. And until I got good enough to start winning, when Abby would suddenly lose interest and demand a different activity. It was the kind of easy, certain friendship that I now crave. We were each other's people, and it seemed like nothing could change that. Enter high school. Now a hyper-competitive teen, Abby dominated our friend group, and at some point in freshman year, she started ignoring me. Abby had ignored me in the past for small infractions, so I was hoping it would blow over. The rest of the friend group, scared to be exiled in the same way I was, refused to speak to me when Abby was there. They would approach me alone and say, "Lily, I'm so sorry. I'm on your side, but I can't talk to you when Abby's around." American high school was, it seemed, as bad as in the movies. As the year continued, it became clear that whatever I had done was no small infraction. My attempts at getting answers or reconciling were met with icy silence. Nonetheless, the pieces slowly started to come together. Abby's boyfriend, Mateo, a sweet but tactless boy who was a close friend of mine, had apparently told Abby that he had a crush on me. This event is what instigated the ignoring, even though I was oblivious to all of it at the time. And she didn't ignore him, mind you, just me. After the school year ended, a miserable year of me eating alone at lunch and fighting the urge to cry in every class Abby and I had together, she signed up to audition for a girls' Shakespeare company I was in. I was shocked. This, I thought, was my turf. Although we couldn't escape each other in classes, surely we could escape each other in extracurriculars. I was at auditions first to unlock the building and set everything up, and Abby showed up early. I approached her in the hallway outside the audition room, my hands clammy and my stomach ringing and all the rest. "Hey," I said, "I just want to get on the same page before you audition. I don't know why you're ignoring me. I want to be friends again. If you want to be, I miss being friends." She stared at me with what I can only describe as malice.
"Lily,"
she said, and reading this, I see my name in her handwriting in our traveling diary.
"I don't want to be friends."
"Is it Mateo?" I asked. "I honestly didn't know until like a month ago. I don't like him. I'm sorry if it—"
"Frankly,"
she said, and this has replayed itself in my memory and mind for years.
"It's not about Mateo anymore. You're toxic. I've spent so long trying to understand you, but frankly, I don't understand you, and I don't want to understand you. I don't want anything to do with you. You're toxic, and you make everything around you toxic."
I don't remember what I said next. I think some blithering attempt at understanding, at apologizing. No one had ever called me toxic before. But when she said it, since she had been my best friend for so long, since her treatment of me was so severe that I couldn't imagine how it could happen without me somehow deserving it, I felt like it had to be true. I was toxic. I managed not to cry until I got into the audition room to finish setting up. I wish I had told her to go fuck herself. That actually, she was the toxic one, if anybody was toxic, because she couldn't be around someone without competing with them and tearing them down so she could be at the top. Like, she made teachers cry in high school. As I tried to pull myself together in the audition room, one of the other members of the Shakespeare company said, "She told me she's only auditioning because she wants to diversify her college applications." Abby came into the room and did a fine monologue. To her credit, it was not as bad as I'd been hoping it would be. I recused myself from voting on her admission, and I was relieved when the rest of the panel decided not to bring her on. The theater would remain a safe place for now, but suddenly my mind was not so safe. Now, Whenever I have a difficult time in a friendship, I know that it is because I'm toxic. Whenever I move cities or countries, as I have done several times in the past few years, and have a hard time sustaining and nourishing my relationships with new distance, I know that it is because I am toxic. When something is wrong in my romantic relationship, I know that it is because I am toxic. This knowledge makes me self-sabotage. I swear and call my partner names and flail my arms in a way that I never had before, so he can see how toxic I am and do what's best for him and dump me. I identify what would hurt the most, and I say it. I drive as many knives as I can into the relationship so he can come to his senses and save himself. Has my conviction about my toxicity made me toxic? I am afraid that I have fulfilled Abby's prophecy. Hindsight has shown me that Abby was putting something on me that she was probably feeling in herself. Some lack, some inadequacy, some threat. I'm not saying that I was perfect then. She knew me through some phases when I was definitely a brat. But I didn't deserve what she did. She was cruel, and it's likely that she was also suffering. Now, when I suffer, I tend to either isolate myself or lash out with cruelty. In some twisted way, I am trying to protect the people I love by either removing myself from their lives or showing them a darkness that was forced onto me by people who were driven by their own fear. As a result, my fear has made me what I fear the most. I dreamed about Abby for years. I wish I were exaggerating. She occupied so much space in my subconscious. I would have these gorgeous dreams where we ran into each other on tree-lined college campuses and decided to become friends again. I would dream of her forgiving me, and I would dream of me forgiving her. I would dream of us being friends like nothing had happened, walking to the store near her childhood home, or having a sleepover, or eating pasta her dad made. And then I would wake up, feeling an incredible relief, finally aligned and safe and content again, until the dream worlds inevitably came crashing down as I realized that no, Abby and I were still not friends, and I was still toxic.